but these videos will give you an excellent foundation in how to be a working actor. There's a difference between an actor who wants a job and an actor who has a career and is working. I look forward to working with you. We have with us the inimitable Lizzy Jarrett, former student of mine at NYU, but more importantly, a fierce creator, producer, and actor who's doing a lot of really amazing things. So, really excited to talk to you, Lizzy, and hear about. I see on your website that you're going to the MFA program, you're producing. So, tell us about Makeshift she creates, and then I guess grad school, all that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on here, Bruce. Ugh, I loved your class and I miss your class, but it was a great class and it's kind of I've taken a lot with me these past few years since doing that class in my senior year. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so producing, I guess I kind of got into that because it really was sort of the Me Too movement that was sort of making me feel like and like I was just feeling so much from everything that everyone was talking about their stories and everything was coming out, which was great. But
Hmm.
I also was like, there needs to be some celebration here of female and genderqueer artists. That's kind of like the voices that I wanted to sort of celebrate and uplift. So I brought it to my co-producer Irene Lazaridis, who is the artistic director of Makeshift, which
Hmm.
is a company in the city dedicated to helping makers bring things from ideas to fruition to production. And I brought the idea. I was like, I want to have a celebration of work. And so she was like, yeah, totally, let's do it. It's been kind of an enriching part of like just my creative experience as an artist in New York City. I
Hmm.
find that it helps my acting work, oddly, doing things that are outside of acting, but still in the creative world, which, a lot of friends are writers too, and they're, all these different things because it really does stimulate your creativity and also it gives you a life outside of, the acting hustle, which, can be very consuming and make you feel like shit sometimes.
Hmm.
And you have to have a creative outlet that's not that.
Hmm.
So that's what's been the biggest thing for me, I guess, and also just the rewarding nature of getting together a bunch of artists and creating something. So yeah, that's
Cool.
that's a bit about that.
I love how you said it came out, partially came out of Me Too. I had the same experience this summer with all the protests, and my family and I are going to protests and doing stuff, and I'm trapped at home. So I wrote a book and started doing webinars. So it's the best thing in the world when something awful and huge makes or invites you to do something else, right? And I think that's the difference between cancer and death and a life. Like for us artistic folks, like that's the difference.
You're so right. You're so right. And congrats on your book. That's incredible. Good for
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So, what made you want to go back and get the MFA at NYU? Do a double NYU.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know. It was sort of something that was kind of in the back of my mind, and I actually was one of those people who was like, people would come to me and be like, "I want to get an MFA," and I'd be like, "Oh, that's interesting." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, like, well, I had NYU BFA, so I don't really need that. But it
Mm,
was sort of like in my back of my mind, I was like, "Wow, that'd be nice," and you know, so I guess that's why I had that reaction at first, but. Um, I had been thinking about it for over a year, and then kind of the pandemic happened, and I was just like, I'm just gonna do this.
Mhm.
Like,
mm,
cut the bullshit. I'm just gonna go for it. I've been out for a few years now, so I figured,
mhm.
it's a good time to dive back in and get back in the lab. the lab of what is my process, what is, what do I want, what do I need, where do I need to improve. So I kind of went for it, and I really only applied to two schools, so I really knew what I was like going after, and really specific about the programs. And NYU was actually my top choice because I love their grad program. So um, and I got in. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. Um,
Cool. I like how
so
you say it's to go back into the lab for you artistically. A lot of times people make the choice to go to grad school because of the business, which is not necessarily a bad decision, right? People decide, I need that audition after you graduate. I need that on my resume to have NYU, Juilliard, whatever it is on my resume. So it's just interesting to hear that that wasn't really a factor for you. It could be, and I'm not knocking it at all. I went to grad school. I have an academic degree, but so I'm just interested to hear that that wasn't a factor for you, Lizzy.
yeah, not hugely, because I knew that no matter what, I still would be doing this, even if I didn't go to grad school.
Hmm.
It was more just like, oh, the luxury of like getting to really come out and be the most confident, you know, actor I could be. In that, knowing myself, I will have, I think, really figured it out. And so I think there's still things that I realized, in my audition process, but it wasn't about auditioning really. It was also when I did get the roles for like the theater part or the film or whatever it was, I was like, huh, I think I have some more things, some more kinks to like work on. Because,
Mm,
yeah, I just wanted to feel the most confident. And I figured that some extra schooling could be really helpful.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Caroline, you know Lizzy. Got
I
anything you want to ask
do.
Lizzy here on recorded
Yeah.
camera?
Oh my God, of course. Well, actually, we had a couple of people message or write in, so like, because
Oh,
I
good.
put in our newsletter that you were coming to talk to us, and I mentioned that you just got into NYU. So a couple of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
just wanted to know, kind of like, if you could summarize like your prep for the audition process. I know you were only really applying to two schools, and then what the actual, I feel like a lot of people are very mystified about what the process is like, because it's different for each school in terms of like, today you audition and you could get
Yeah.
called back today and find out by the end of the day that you're in. What was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, no, I feel like grad school's you got to be like ready to go through a whole thing. But
A
also, no,
thing.
people, it's a thing. No, but I mean, people can also just do it to like on a whim as well. That I have nothing wrong with that, but I really like prepared for a while because I knew I just didn't want anything in that room to adhere me from just like throwing down as much as possible, of and giving and sharing everything that I have. So I started really early. I started pretty much right when the pandemic shut down. I started my prep of starting to like reading more plays again. But I had always been doing that, and that's something that
Mhm.
like already I was like, okay, I think I can, you know, pull from some plays here. But I mean, the hardest part is obviously is finding your material and feeling good about it. And people, will pull out their hair about it and like, be tormented, which I totally was. But I had that so many months because my first audition wasn't even until December, and it was
Okay.
all online too.
Oh, right.
Um,
I did not even, for some
Wow,
reason, I
yeah.
blocked that out. Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
like my self-taping sort of practice and all these different things really helped,
Mm,
like because and therefore I prepared all my monologues filmed, and with like,
mm,
the background and all the thing, knowing my angles, knowing everything. So the film work was actually really helpful to bring into this. And so yeah, anyway, I took many months to prepare. I found my material, and I just found things that really made me feel they were like me. I was just like, this is who I am. This is what I have to bring. And a couple of them were definitely stuff that I was like, tomorrow I could be cast. And
mhm,
then I
mhm.
had two that were like more stretch. Um, so yeah, and then I had two backups. So that's what's crazy about grad
That's
school
what I was
too.
gonna
Is
say.
you
You
have
probably had to prepare so many monologues. Oh my
oh
gosh.
my
Yeah.
god, and I hate them. I hate monologues. Everyone hates them. I mean, I guess some people like them, but
No,
Everyone hates
I hate
monologues.
them.
Yeah.
I just don't
I made a
believe you if
whole
you do.
video. Yeah, yeah. I made a whole video on my course about like here's why not to hate monologues and take it easy on yourself. But we all do. We all hate them.
I keep finding new every time some studios like it's a monologue workshop. You're finally gonna come out with things you love. I go, I give it a good try. It just hasn't really happened for me. One day.
Yeah.
Because it's unnatural. It's like auditioning. At least auditioning, you understand why it's there, but monologues don't happen. Like you do plays, and then there's a moment where you talk more, and there's a moment where you talk less. Like
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like monologues don't happen in real life.
I feel like I'm always waiting for that moment that I feel on stage when things feel really clicked in and really good. And you're like, I'm supposed to feel that in a monologue too, right? But it's just
Mm.
not gonna be the same because you're alone. It's just you're never gonna quite get
You
there.
have to do, you have to do all that prep to get you like, what just happened?
Mhm.
Oh, right. She said this. That's why I start. Like that's why the
Well,
first line of
one
the
of the
monologue is
things
the
from
most important thing.
yeah, I remember you emphasizing that in class, and you had like the simplest, exercise of like just pressing against the wall and then doing the
Mhm.
first line.
Oh yeah.
Made so much difference for me. I have never forgotten that of just like really, you got to start with a bang. I've held on to that.
Oh my god. Yeah, and that was and navigating the space of being online as well with these people,
Mm.
live online and but it was cool because I was in my own space, so I created it how I wanted it to be
Mm,
um and that's why the months and months of prep was helpful because with a monologue, right, you want to almost like rehearse it like a play, like like before you get on stage, like you have your moment before and you have your yeah whatever it is you're pushing on the wall or you're whatever you're shaking it out or you're imagining have an image, and then boom you go and you don't have to think, it's sort of like yeah, I just wanted the least amount of thinking as possible and just doing, like do it. And so that's kind of what yeah I auditioned for Juilliard and NYU, and yeah, they were both in December, uh, and yeah, it was crazy because Juilliard got I got a call back but didn't get to the end of the day,
mm-hmm.
um, and then NYU I just did one audition, and it was with the chair of the department, so I didn't have to do any more. And then I
Wow.
was like, okay. And then you wait, like I waited like I don't know 6 weeks or 8 weeks. I don't even know, like 2 months. I
Ugh.
can't even remember
My
to like hear
God.
back.
Ugh.
I
My
know.
son
So
is about to be a senior in high school and is about to
oh
go through
god.
that for undergrad. Just I remember that waiting. The waiting
Oh
is the worst.
That's funny.
yeah.
I was just talking to some of the kids from my high school just about like college auditions, college. And so this is what I wanted to ask you too, Lizzy, because I've been thinking about it. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
would you tell, maybe not even high school you, but what would you tell like NYU undergrad you that you figured out since being in the industry since then? Like, what would you say?
I would say, in terms of like the auditioning, like auditioning for school
No, even in terms
or
of like just
anything.
being a creative person, being an actor, any of it.
Well, one thing is actually from your class, Bruce, that I remember you told us is that devote an hour every day to your craft, and then it'll add up, and then you can start off with that, and then you can build upon that. And I think once I got out, what it was about was building community
Mhm.
and getting myself out there, um, and doing an hour every day of creative work, and I think that's the big idea is that make it a lifestyle, make it a part of your life, make it um yeah, it's all about it's about the community because I went into NYU, I think I was very individualist and very like like you just like you're good and then you act and that's it.
Mm.
Like and if you're good in the audition, you'll get the part. It's like Well, I mean, but it's really like who your relationships are, um, and not networking. Like, because I think that's like kind of, to me, that hasn't been a helpful term, but it's really just about like creating your community, creating
Yeah.
and find, and that's the same thing with casting directors, or like, the people you think, the gatekeepers, all this stuff. It's, to me, I've found, and it was the same thing with the grad school. I had to just let, I think I got in because they saw that I am someone who's an active part of the New York City theater community, and because I
Hmm.
care, because I'm passionate about it, and I
Hmm.
want to know people, I want to be embedded. So I think going for that is a huge thing that I think gets discounted.
No, but I think that that's great. And you
Really?
say community, and other people use the word networking, and sometimes networking can have that sort of slimy connotation. But I like the way that you use it with community. You are creating a community, and if you put time into it, you will have a community of people that you work with. That's great. I love that. By the way, you never came off that way to me in class. I remember you as a senior. You came off as self-possessed, but not at all like shut up. No, and I point out self-possessed only because it's somewhat rare in college seniors, even at prestigious programs like NYU, to have people who are self-possessed. It's pretty rare. I sure as hell wasn't in my senior year. But you came across that way, Lizzy, and I'm always attracted to people like that who come with their own ideas. Like you weren't at all unreceptive to anything I said. You just can't. You brought some stuff to the table, which is exactly what you want.
Ultimately, just how I go about it is wanting to be a collaborator, plain and simple. And it's helped when I think about it that way before even going, for film and TV or whatever. It's always about like they need me as much as I need them, and vice versa. So it's collaborating. It's, they want the ideas. They want you to like take chances and, you know, do something weird or like that no one else would do, because it's like whatever. Like this is what I bring. This is me. Um, and
And
yeah.
you support your friends too. I know you and Caroline are actually friends, but this is an incredible thing. One of the things I teach is 4 hours a week, and specifically like what you do. And one of them is a peer coffee, like get together with a peer and talk to them about what's going on every week. And I know that you and Caroline do that. And I know you do it with Jane West, or you used to while you came to see the show that Jane and I did at 59 East 59th.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
have your like peer folks that you talk to all the time?
Yes. Yeah. Again, I think it's all about the support. You need different things because some people are, you have your, yeah, actor friends, the peer support that's like, that you can like, say, oh, I had like this really shit thing happen, or like, I had, I didn't do a good job, or like, oh, like this happened, this is go great. So there's that, and then there's also folks that are like, maybe writers, directors. Like I have a writer friend who we ritually like get lunch every month. He's a screenwriter,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't know how that happened, but we just did it, and we were like, we're lunch buddies, So it's like, yeah, I definitely have those people, and I find that also during the pandemic, that's been the folks I've been relying on, to like get through this time. That's, like, talk about strange and depressing, but like relying on those folks, my communities, makeshift. Rattlestick has been a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I go to their artist hour every week.
Mm.
There's certain folks that it's like, and the Rattlestick one, I tell them this too. I'm like, I'm such a noob, and like, everyone in there is so like great and wonderful, and I think that's another thing is like exposing yourself to people who make you intimidated or who have a lot of experience.
Mm.
It's always good for for you to feel that a little bit of that push. So I try to
I'm
do
gonna
that
write
as
that one
well.
down. I avoid that. I think I need to do that.
Isn't that weird? Like
Yeah.
like you're like, oh, I won't go because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm
like
not cool enough. I don't
I'm
know
not
enough.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. But I was
Mm.
just like, I'm gonna freaking go and and even though I'm there like, hi,
Yeah.
you guys are awesome. It's fine because then I get more and more comfortable. So I've been trying to be better about that. So I feel you, Caroline. Just throw yourself in, see how it goes.
Yeah, I've just
You'll
also
live.
accepted sometimes I think I'm always going to feel that way. I think no matter what
Mm.
happens in my career, and I've heard this from other people who have like been to the places I want to get to, that they're like, I feel
Mm,
like I'm the same person. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing here? And I'm like, all right, if I can just like accept that being uncomfortable isn't always a bad sign, like you were saying, like sometimes it's a good sign that you're somewhere where you're going to grow, then that's fine.
Check
so
out books
true.
on the imposter syndrome. It's a specific thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I go on that with my coffee buddy actually every week. We find our way back to like when you just have to, not that there's anything that you have to do to belong in this industry, just being here, you're in it, great.
Mm.
But I think we do everything possible to just talk ourselves out of saying we don't like convince ourselves we don't belong here. And that's not coming from anybody else but ourselves 99% of the time. That's when
I
I find
remember
so
you
much.
sent me an email years ago for about a show that was auditioning, and you were like, "It's shooting in L.A. Should I go to L.A. for this audition?" And you
Yes.
told me what it was, and I'm not going to mention the name because blah 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 blah. But and I was like, I wrote you in all caps, "Go to L.A."
And I got it.
now.
Yep. I remember where I was in my apartment. I saw it in all caps and I was like, jetblue.com, like getting my ticket. Like, yeah. It's great.
Immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lizzy, what are you gonna take us out on? What are you doing like this week, next week? What's going on in the most immediate Jarrett future?
Oh my gosh. Well, immediate is just like I'm needing to save and make money for when
Mm-hmm.
I'm in school. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
those like very practical. I'm like in that practical land right now. It's just the money financial aspect. So it's like, yeah, saving, making money, putting it away, such that when I'm in school, I don't have to work and I can just, everything can go to my living expenses. Boom. So that's my biggest priority.
Otherwise known as smart.
Yes, the smarts. Yeah. Um, that's kind of like the very immediate. Otherwise, I'm doing things like I'm part of uh, the Theater East community, and I go to their writers group where
Mm-hmm.
I read as an actor for the writers and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
I know everyone really well there, so I do that every week. Again, as I said, I do the rattlestick thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've also been doing a little bit of writing, which I never did before, but it was kind of one of those things. I guess the pandemic space to be able to like think and think in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been kind of writing a bit. So I don't know
Nice.
if that's going to go anywhere. It could just be me and I'm going to lock it in my safe, and forget about it. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't
But
matter. It's your life.
exactly. So it's kind of those things right now. Yeah, the real like I don't know, just this primal stuff to me, like the really just the basics, which it actually feels good to focus on those right now before heading into a 3-year program that's going to be very intense, like
Yeah,
probably
but you have
mentally.
not just a light at the end of the tunnel. You have a goal and something that you've achieved, and you're going for it, prepping to get there. That's amazing. Like, what's better?
Honestly, no,
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. I feel very blessed, very lucky.
Cookies and $1,000,000 would make it better, but other than that, great. Yes, Lizzie's great. We look
Oh,
forward to seeing much more
yes.
Lizzy in the future, and I hope you'll come back and talk to us again.
Yeah,
I
I
would
can't wait to
love
see the
that.
shows that you end up doing at school. I will always
Yes.
send me those. I'll always go. I can't wait.
Okay, yeah, I totally will. Oh my gosh, you guys are
Oh,
so amazing and supportive and lovely.
so happy
I'm
for
so
you. Oh my
glad you're
God.
doing this. Yeah, this is so great.
It's fun. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Everybody, watch all the other episodes. They're really good.
Thanks for the in video plug. We love that.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Lizzy. Well, thank you again. And please do stay in touch. I know you and Caroline talk, but send me an email every now and again. Let me know what's going on.
Will do, Bruce.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right. Later,
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.